Alrighty, hi everyone. We're back with storm coverage, part two. Got my glass of water right here, or cup of water. Just connected with Ryan. He's getting ready for the newscast at 6 o'clock, and we are in the middle of it right now with finally some rainfall in the forecast. But nobody likes severe weather. The good news is we have one severe thunderstorm warning that will probably expire within the next 3 minutes, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Let's jump right into it. Thanks for joining us today on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We just did a quick update. Actually, it wasn't a quick update. I think it was about an hour or two. I was on the air with a little update with some of the severe weather. We had some rotating supercells. We had some damaging wind. We also had a tremendous amount of rain. Right now, there's one warning in effect. But before we get into that warning, I want to show you, this is something I've been playing around with the last 15 minutes or so. What you're looking at here is the 3D radar. These storms are climbing miles into the sky. And we're seeing these storms climbing to about 30,000 feet in elevation as this line sort of works into our region. The good news is it is weakening slightly. I'm just going to twist it a little bit. It's kind of cool. You can do with a radar. We're looking here straight south to north through York County and right up through Cumberland County, Sebago Lake area. Let's go up into central Maine. So this line says it has a pretty good vertical extent as far as these storms go, looking at the 3D radar. And I was looking at that one that came through Limington. I mean, that was the one I was watching about an hour ago. It was, let's see if we can highlight it right here. That's the one that had a little bit of rotation in it, and we're keeping an eye on that one pretty closely. And that one was probably climbing a little over 30,000 feet in elevation. So kind of cool to see the vertical extent of some of these storms. Let's take a break from that 3D radar here and take a look at the current warning that's in effect. And this will expire in the next 2 minutes. I think this remains in effect until 4:45. Yeah, 4:45. Radar indicated there's the chance for damaging wind and hail. If you have a storm report, can you post it here? I'd love to see it. And you can send pictures, either my email or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. Sometimes check Instagram. But yeah, I'd love to see some of the storm reports. Right now, I got a report of trees down in Bridgeton. That's one of the reports that we had, and we'll look at that in a moment here. But this is the current warning that will expire in likely a minute. So 4:45. Let's see if we can get it to pop off momentarily. The good news is, all right, there's some good news in this forecast here. We've been watching a lot of these garbage cells out ahead of the main line, that line that kind of made its way through about 2-3 hours ago. It was raining in Biddeford. It was raining in Portland. It was raining the main line. It was raining out ahead of the main line. So that stabilizes the atmosphere. That's good news, because this next line, the main line's coming through, and it doesn't have as much energy to work off of as if we had the opposite, where we had the sun, we had the juicy air mass in place, which we still do. There we go. See, that warning just popped off right there. So that's great news. There are no warnings currently in effect. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that remains in effect through tonight, into tonight, but there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Much different scenario for our friends off to our south. There are multiple tornado warnings down to Massachusetts and New York. These are some pretty nasty cells that are coming through Massachusetts. And if you've been following this, there is more good news. The Storm Prediction Center has significantly decreased our risk for spin-up tornadoes. So that's good news too. We're down to a 2% risk, 2% chance 25 miles out from any given point. We still are under a risk for scattered severe storms with damaging wind, straight line wind, the primary threat. Flooding is also a threat. I mean, with this sort of rainfall, you would think flooding. How is this going to be a big deal? We haven't had any rain. Typically, when you have a dry ground like we have in place right now, the ground can't absorb all this rainfall when it's really dry like this. So you get excessive runoff in a drought situation. So a lot of times we get some of our bigger flood events during our flash flood events during these sort of setups. So something to keep an eye on here. There's the tornado threat. It's much greater down in Massachusetts right now. So good news there. There are no warnings currently in effect. Let's take a look at the velocity here. I want to show you. This is the one I want to show you. So this is Limington about an hour ago. Must have been about an hour ago. I'm keeping losing track of time. You see these greens and reds, how they really fired up right there. There's got to be some damage in this area right in there. See that one? Right across Route 25 in Leamington. If there's some damage, I'd love to see it. I mean, you probably had, at the very least, some strong winds. This was a rotating supercell that came through that area. So not going to rule out quick spin up that occurred in that region. Let's take a look at the exact time. Let's see if we can pull it back. So this is kind of looking back at the cell. So this is probably around 4 o'clock. So this is 45 minutes ago. It was that line right there that came through Leamington. See that right there? Those bright greens. The Weather Service issued a warning on that cell. So coming across Route 25 there, let's see. I'm not too familiar with that area. So there's well, I am familiar with the area, but I'm trying to think. There's once you get through that area, there's the lumber yard. There's the where the Saco crosses Route 25. Actually, the Saco crosses Route 25 just to the east of that. So where that happened was probably a little west of where the Saco, where those rapids are. So maybe over towards the lumber yard there. So it was in that little. Let's see if we can look at it right here. This is about 45 minutes ago. It was that cell right there that at the very least had some very strong winds in it. So that was at 4 o'clock. So if you have any reports of damage, I'd love to see it. All right, let's take a look at the current situation. We have a line that is not producing any severe weather right now. That is wonderful news. And I think there's two things happening here. One, we're losing the daytime heating. Two, we've had a lot of clouds and some of those garbage showers out ahead of this cell. So we're not really seeing some of the severe weather that we could see in this sort of setup. We've had some beneficial rainfall. Look at this. This is an estimate of close to 2 inches down York County. This one near Alfred here, close to about 3 inches of rain. This one near Sebago, right over Sebago Lake, 3 inches of rain there. Western Androscoggin County, a little over an inch of rain. I mean, this is great. We needed this. Holy smokes. This one over toward Oxford, Paris, Bridgeton area. A lot of these areas are getting some beneficial rainfall out of this one. So if there is any good news, that's probably it. We're getting some beneficial rainfall out of this, and we're not seeing a ton of severe weather too, which is great. Although I do think there's damage out there, and we're going to get more damage reports coming in. I feel pretty confident about that. Let's take a look at the Weather Service damage reports right now. Let's widen this out a little bit. Let's look at the radar back here. We're looking at this is the report from Bridgeton, I'm pretty sure. There's a report of, let's see, fire reports of large pine tree and power lines down blocking Highland Road. That was about 3:50. This one coming into, that's Stratford County. Barrington Fire report, a tree down on a house there. So that doesn't look good. But we'll get some more reports, I think. I feel pretty confident there's some damage. There's got to be some damage in Leamington. I think there's, I mean, there was some strong wind in that cell that came through. So maybe if you have a report, I'd love to see it. All right, let's see here. We got some people checking in. This is Jessica. Jessica says, I'm in Lewiston and it's coming down hard. All right. Thanks for the report, Jessica. Come on. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. There's the radar. Thunder and lightning in Elliott right now. Okay. So, yep, you're getting some of the heavier stuff coming through Elliott. Not severe, which is wonderful. We're finally getting some beneficial rain. Quite a bit of rain in Turner, Michael says. Had a really close lightning strike to the house. Oh, that's not good. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning. Let's take a look at the lightning here. Just lightning alone, and we can ID some of these. There's a tremendous amount of lightning over the last half hour. The white lightning strikes are the ones that came in within the last 10 minutes. But looking at all of them over the last half hour, 210 lightning strikes showing up in that little burst right there. And the one off to the south here, that one down in southern New Hampshire, just that one alone, 161 lightning strikes. So where are you, Michael? There you are, Michael. All right. Thanks for the report. Appreciate that. All right. Colleen says she has some much needed rain in OOB about 15 minutes ago. All right. Let's take a look at OOB. Oh. Thanks for joining us here. I'm just Fighting with the computer here. It's coming. There it is. It's loading. Come on, radar. There it is. You're going to get more here, Colleen. I feel very confident about that. This is the most intense line right now that's coming through Lewiston. Huh. Let's take a look at some of these sky cams. That might be a fun thing to do. We can look at these are the Life Flight of Maine cams. And in Auburn, right here, that's the airport in Auburn right now. Here's the jet port. All right, that doesn't look too impressive. Freiburg. Ooh, it's starting to clear already in Freiburg. Sanford, you're in it. There's that one. Rockland still. Rockland's been in the fog, 66. Poor Rockland. You never warmed up today. 66 degrees, but you're used to it. You know it. You know the routine. And there's, again, things are improving as you go farther west there. All right, back to the radar. Actually, it might be cool to check out the Raymond time lapse. Let's look at the Raymond Skycam real quick. And you can bear with me here because this is the digital studio you guys have tuned into. The nice thing is we do not have any time restraints here. It's not like a TV broadcast where where I need to I have 3 minutes or something. We can talk as long as you want. How long you guys want to stick around? That's Raymond right now. Look at that. Oh, that's a good one. Let's take a look at the time lapse from Raymond. So this is a live look at our Raymond Skycam. And, I'm going to change the times in this time lapse. We're going to change this real quick here. What we're going to do is we're going to look over the last 2 hours. There we go. Oh, no, I lost it. Hold on a sec. I just knocked out my whole graphic system. We got it. We got it back. Hang tight. There we go. All right. So this is the time lapse I want to show you. Oh, I didn't save it. Darn. All right. Well, that's the whole day. This is over the last couple hours. I knew it was going to say. All right. There we go. So I'm just going back and forth with the time lapse. All right, I'm going to save this. This is going to drive you crazy. Last 2 hours. Okay. And we can roll through this. There we go. Here's the last 2 hours. Let's look at this one together. That's Raymond. Huh. One shower. Another one right there. Look at that. Boom. Wow. And the wind's coming back around from the other side. Let's roll through that one more time. That was really cool to see. All right. So look at the clouds coming, west to east. And you see, capture a few lightning strikes. And look at the clouds in the last few frames right here. Boom. Coming from north to south. See that? It's nice to see that. All right. If you're a weather nerd like I am, you're probably impressed with that. But that was our Raymond Skycam. Let's go back to the radar for a minute. And we can look at some of your questions. And I think by 8 o'clock, we're in much better shape. So you might be wondering when all this is going to come to an end. Let's just take a quick look at how that goes down. Yeah, we have Ryan working on the TV stuff, and I figured I'd hang out and do a little bit of digital forecasting with you folks today. It was nice. My wife and I went out for a quick bite to eat for lunch, and I was already in Portland. Said, let's go do some tracking of storms. 5 o'clock, it's about a half hour from now. That seems to be working out pretty well. And notice by 7, 8 o'clock, a lot of these storms are starting to make their way offshore. All right. Let's answer some of your questions right now. There's a live look at the radar, and we can leave it right on that. Lots of cool lightning here. No severe weather is in effect. No severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect, folks. That's wonderful news. And these are the heavier downpours. These are the most rugged storms right now, coming right up through, looks like now east of Lewiston, up towards now east of Turner. It's getting into Kennebec County. There's Wales right there. There's southern Androscoggin County towards Lisbon, Winthrop. So the Belgrade Lakes are next. I mean, you guys are going to get it next, up towards Rome, perhaps. Some real heavy and beneficial rain is in the forecast in that area. Let's just look at that. All right. So maybe we can bring in some of your questions here. Jill says, hope everyone is safe. Love a good summer storm. I'm with you, Jill. Taco. All right. I go for a taco. Thank you. Rain and thunder in Lewiston. Thanks for the report, Rebecca. Appreciate that. Thunder and rain in Topsom. Hope says, appreciate that. Should we be worried about storms and tornadoes? I don't think so, Timothy. I think the threat is waning for tornadoes. Good news there. I mean, there still is that chance, but I think it's low, very, very low. And the severe threat continues to diminish as we lose the daytime heating here. I think that's going to help out over the next hour or so. Pouring. It's got to be pouring in Waterville. Thanks for the report here. Thomas and Rachel. Thomas and Rachel. Who am I speaking with? Thomas or Rachel? Let's go. Oh, there's Waterville right there. It's got to be pouring in Waterville. Let's look at some of the rainfall rates in that cell. Single, multiple. Yeah, rainfall rates just west of you. We talked about the one in Belgrade. That's 1.5 inches per hour. The one in Belgrade right now is 2 inches per hour rainfall rates. Gorham is going to get hit. Stuff has been missing us a lot lately. Just Gorham. I think you're gonna. I mean, it's got to be raining there now or close to it, right? Let's go down to Gorham. Sore back today. Let's get a little bit closer to Gorham. You're getting close. In Gorham, there we go. There's Gorham. You're right on the door. You got a storm right on your doorstep there in Gorham. It's coming into your region right now. So hope that helps. Should drivers be concerned about flooded roads? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know, brief urban flooding, poor drainage flooding, that's certainly a possibility. That anytime you have some heavy rain on dry ground like we have right now, the ground can't absorb it when it's dry like this very quickly. It actually needs a little bit of primer for that. So unfortunately, we can get excessive runoff. So flooding is a possibility, but the good news is these cells are moving. So flash flooding is a possibility. I don't think it's a huge problem right now. Downpour in Gorham. All right. We're getting up to the second reports from Gorham. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate that. Thunder and distance in Freeport. It's coming towards your way, Lori. It's coming. Hang in there. How about Portland? It's coming, Pamela. Pamela says it's. How about Portland? It's coming. If you have a report, I want to see some reports. It's dark, raining, thundering, a few lightning strikes in Monmouth. Okay, thanks, Sage. Appreciate that. Pouring in Saco. Thunder, rain in Saco. Okay, thank you. Thunder and rain in Bath, Lindsay says. All right, thanks for the report. Sabata side of Lewiston, it's pouring. I bet. All right, let's go up to Lewiston. Our friends in Lewiston. There's New Gloucester. Oh, now it's good. It's now just getting east. There's Sabata. There you are, Mark. It's got to be raining cats and dogs there. That's a big one. Thunder and lightning, Stacy says. Thanks for the report, Stacy. Pretty significant thunder and lightning in Buxton. Oh, my dog's probably terrified. Do you have a dog anyone else have a dog that's terrified of thunder and fireworks? And yeah, that's my dog. He is not happy. Wish I could just tell him, hey, listen, it'll be all right. Hang in there. So this one we're watching right here. So that one, whoever's was it Mark and Sabatis. Yeah, that one, that's probably the most rugged one right there. And I'm wondering if you have any hail in that cell. I'm curious to see if you have some hail in that cell. Let me know. I want to see the hail tracker on this. Let's see. Yeah, so it's saying there's a chance for a little bit of hail in some of these. Small hail, nothing crazy. Not like we had about an hour ago. We had some real big supercells that were producing the chance for some heavy hail or strong hail, or big hail, I should say. Strong hail. These are looking like run-of-the-mill downpours right now. We can throw the lightning on them. So good news, folks. There are no severe storms in effect right now. But there's a lot of lightning. There's a lot of thunder. We can look at the velocity. We're looking at winds moving toward and away from the radar, toward the radar in green, away from the radar in red. And the thing that was interesting, if you're just joining us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, I want to go back about an hour ago to about 4 o'clock. I want to take you to this was the cell right here. Let's go to 4 o'clock. Is it going to take me? Let's go back. I have to go back 2 hours. That's 2 hours. There we go. So see that right there? Right there, or in Limington, right along Route 25 in Limington. There's got to be some strong winds that came through there around 4 o'clock. That was probably at a rotating supercell that may have had something rotating in it. So at the very least, there's probably at least some damage to some of the trees in that region. So I'd love to see a report if you have any in that region. That was probably the most interesting cell I've seen this afternoon, at least in our region. There've been multiple tornado warnings for our friends down to the south. I mean, this is a big deal down to our south as well, down into the Worcester area, Springfield. That line keeps going. But we are continuing to see improvement here. And those of you across mid-coast Maine, the air mass is much more stable in that region. So we're probably going to see these storms continue to die out in that area. The temperatures have not got out of the 60s all day in Rockland. It's been 66 degrees there with fog all day. And most of you are in the 60s and 70s right now. So we're seeing a much more stable air mass across mid-coast Maine. Let's take a live look at our Raymond sky cam. Let's look at a few more cams here. Doesn't look good in Raymond. Still raining. This tower, this sky cam is located about halfway up our tower, our transmitter tower in Raymond, which, by the way, held the unique distinction back in the late 1950s for the tallest man-made structure on the planet. Yeah, that's right. Our tower was the tallest man-made structure on the planet, and it held that distinction for 2 years. It's a big tower. But back in the late 1950s, it was trying to get your signal out as far as possible. So that's about halfway up our tower. I think it'd be cool to get our sky cam on the top of the tower, but we'll see. Maybe someday. Sean says, no hail. All right. Thanks, Sean. Hey, it's my buddy Sean. How are you? Thank you for checking in. Oh, yeah. Thunderstruck. I know where you're going with this one, Melody. That's a good one. I think it was my daughter's walk-up song for softball for 1 year. Or maybe one of her friends. I can't remember. Lightning in Scarborough. Pouring again, thunder and gray right now. All right. Thanks, Susan. Limington. All right. So I'm just south of the spot in Limington. Our church in that target area. All surveillance equipment shows nothing out and normal. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate the update. All right. Christine has lost power in Gorham. Thank you for the update there. All right. So we have lost power in Gorham. And let's take a look at the radar in Gorham right now. So here we are. So there's this cell that just came through Gorham. It's now in Westbrook. Let's take the lightning off. That's kind of annoying to see all the lightning on there. Yeah, that was the cell right there that produced the power outage in Gorham. You see it right there. So thanks for the report, Christine. Hopefully you get power back soon. It's kind of a muggy evening. I wonder how many people have their air conditioner running today. I don't know. It's kind of muggy and warm, but I don't think you need it. You probably won't need it tomorrow. Let's see. It's 5 o'clock. All right. Thundering in Dresden. Thanks for the report here, Pamela. All right, let's go. These still are pretty good looking storms up here from Monmouth to Winthrop. Next up, we have Bowdoin. We have Litchfield. Augusta's about ready to get hit. I mean, that's a pretty good. There's got to be some hail in that cell. You know what we're going to do? We're going to slice that cell in half. Let's just slice it in half like this. Let's do this. Let's take this cell right over Sabattis to Litchfield. And we can slice the storm. Nothing too impressive. Not like the cells we had about an hour and a half ago. But these are up around 20,000 feet in elevation. That one looks most impressive. Let's go over to this one. Yeah, so this one's climbing about 30,000 feet in elevation right there. Mm-hmm. I was trying to manipulate that, but that looks like it's moving into Litchfield and Gardner right now. So at the very least, some very heavy rain and potentially a little bit of hail. It's possible. Nothing major. Hail tracker is not too impressive right now on that cell. Potentially a little bit of hail mixed in. But this is the 3D radar. Let's take a look at some of these. These cells up in that region. So we're looking from the ocean now, looking up towards Lewiston, and there's the Augusta area, and we're looking at the vertical extent. This is a graphic I usually don't show that often, but this right here is the 3D radar. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Just shows that vertical extent with some of these storms rising to about 20 to 30,000 feet in elevation. So those storms that appear to be crazy on the radar are not really as intense, or at least they're not as high in elevation as the storms we've seen earlier this afternoon. So this is just run-of-the-mill thunderstorms over York County and Cumberland County. About ready to get into the Portland area. Still raining hard in the... Finally, some beneficial rain, right? In the Sevago Lake area. But this is still the most impressive looking cell. Let's see if there's any wind in it. Yeah, there's probably a little wind in it. Nothing too extreme. There's no severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That's good news there. Let's see if we get any more damage reports from our friends at the Weather Service. That's funny. I just had a report from a friend of mine. Yeah, no new updates from the Weather Service. There's Augusta right there. Yeah, so Litchfield, Winthrop, Bowdoin, Lisbon, Durham, NWS Gray, you're involved in this one. Wyndham, Sebago Lake, Raymond, actually the back edge of Sebago Lake. You're just seeing just plain old rain at this point. So good news, folks. I mean, I think we're escaping the severe weather threat for a large portion of our area. Let's see if the Storm Prediction Center has any new updates for us. No, they're still saying, yeah, the tornado threat's fairly low. Good news there. And we can loop this. Look at the radar. There it is. This is the last 3 hours, a 3-hour loop of our radar. Notice over the last few frames, these storms continue to weaken. So good news. All right, let's see if we have any more reports from our friends out there. All right, okay, it's raining now in Biddeford. I bet. All right, thanks. Here says, go Bills. All right. Go Patriots tomorrow, too. I think it's going to be raining down at Gillette. We'll see. Thundering and raining in Newcastle. All right. Got some big boomers now, Pamela said. All right. Thunder in Westbrook. It's dark. Thank you for the report, Beth. Raining in Harrison. Thundering now in Waterville. Thank you. Oh, come on. Corn chowder on the stove. Oh, yum. I'm coming over. Thanks, Tammy. Dark and pouring. Yeah, let's hope you keep power, right? Nobody wants a cold corn chowder. Just heard some thunder. Who says this one? There you are. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. Near Togus. Thank you. Very dark in Saco. Lots of thunder. Thunder and lightning in Waterville, Travis says. No hail, Diana says. All right, these are great updates. Drizzle and wind. That was a big bang, Pamela says. Pouring in Litchfield about 2 minutes ago. Thank you, Doreen. Rain getting heavy in Sabattis. All right, we still have power in Gorham. Raining and strong. My husband likes it cold. Hey, what? Yeah, you're probably commenting on, are you running the air conditioner? Yeah. I know what you're talking about, Melissa. That's my wife. My wife is the one that likes it cold. So we have the opposite role. I'm like, it's freezing in here. All right. You're not going to need the air conditioner next week. You won't need it tomorrow. Bring on thunder and lightning. Yeah, we need the rain for sure. Absolutely, Nicole. Let's see. Just hit was heavy rain on hail watch. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. Pouring in Waterville, thundering. Thank you, Travis. Thundering in Waterville. Cindy took the portable AC out a week ago. Everybody has something to say about ACs. AC still on. All right, Peter. Took ACs out already. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. We still have. All right, so we have a couple. My kids, one of my daughters took hers out, and the other one still has hers in. We have the window units still. We haven't upgraded to those nice wall units or anything, but yeah, you could use it. I mean, it's humid, right? I mean, it's about as humid as it ever gets in the month of September. Everybody has it. I like it. Electric bills through the roof. Yeah. All right. That's we're everybody's talking about the ACs. Who knew that this conversation would go there? No AC. Got a fan though, Pamela. All right. Raining and thunder and Gorham. We need the rain. All right. Thank you for the report, Kathy. All right. We are in good shape right now. We have, I think this is the best case scenario because we're getting some beneficial rain. There's no severe weather right now. We've had some reports of trees and power lines down. There's a lot more severe weather or damage reports off to our south. So I think we've missed out on a lot of the worst of these cells. But that is one nasty cell. Well, as far as one nasty heavy rainfall at the very least, with some lightning. There's been a lot of lightning in this area up into central Maine. So Augusta, you're next up on this one. Looks like Durham's in on it. New Gloucester. In fact, let's take a look at the National Weather Service Sky Cam here. We can look at that one. You can look at it too. It's online. You can see it on their website. I think it's on their website at least. Let's find it. These are a bunch of cams. There's gray. Yeah. That's what rain looks like in gray right now. That's what Portland looks like. Yeah. These are the Life Flight of Maine cams. There's Damariscotta. Let's see if we're clearing on the back edge. Ooh, that's a pretty sky cam. Looking at Mount Washington from Conway. There's Sunday River, Sugarloaf. Let's look at some of these cams here. Yeah, Auburn. It's raining. Waterville's probably nasty. That doesn't look good, right? At the Robert Lafleur Airport in Waterville. That is one heavy downpour right now. Belfast, you're next up. You're looking at the storm there. So these are the Life Flight of Maine cams. All right. They put in a bunch of cams about 6 months ago, I think, well, it's been about a 2-year process, but a lot of the airports, you get some nice cameras now. So thanks to our friends at the Life Flight of Maine that have been putting those in. Oh, come on, Eric. What's up, Eric? How are you? Hope things are going well. Let's hope it is not snowing over there. Drizzle in Dixfield. All right. Bonnie, thanks for checking in. Deborah says, good one. Yeah, that's what I just said, Deborah. Yeah. 10 miles away, Cindy says. All right. You got the old lightning tracker on your phone. I like that. It says Michael. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words. Raining in Gardner. Yeah. All right. That's it. It is raining in Gardner. Thanks for the report, Erica. That's that. So Gardner. There's New Gloucester. Yeah, it's got to be pouring in Gardner. There's Augusta right there. There is Gardner. Let's ID the rainfall in Gardner here. Erica, you're looking at rainfall rates around 1.5 inches per hour. So it is dumping rain there. 1.5 inches per hour there. There's West Gardner up towards Manchester. Litchfield getting poured on right now. Wonder what our friend David's doing up there, live in Litchfield. But yeah, there's plenty of lightning in these cells as well. All right. I should probably hop off the air so Ryan can get this computer. He's going to get ready for a newscast coming up at 6 o'clock. So I think we'll leave it at that. If you're just joining us, let's take a look at the timing of some of these cells. I think these are moving through nice and quickly here. So the back edge of the heavy stuff will be exiting off to the east. Probably, there we go, by 6:30, 7 o'clock. And we are 7 o'clock. So that's a forecast radar. So we're getting that beneficial rain. This is about as, best case scenario. There still is a chance for some strong to severe storms, but I think that threat is diminished considerably. Let's see here. Our friends over at the Storm Prediction Center down in Norman, Oklahoma. Let's see if they have any updates for us now. But that first line with a lot of clouds out ahead of the main line, I think that stabilized our atmosphere just enough that at least southern areas didn't have any severe storms. We've had multiple reports of trees down off to the west, and there were multiple tornado warnings down into Massachusetts and New York. So luckily we did not get any of those. Some new damage reports coming in from the Weather Service down in here. This is brand new. Let's take a look at some of those. This one is Barrington. Trees down a house on Small Road. That's up there in Stratford County. This one down in Rockingham County. I mean, what are the odds, right? The air show is going on today down in Portsmouth. Hopefully they got some, hopefully the Blue Angels flew today before the storms came in. I don't know, though. I haven't seen any reports. Off-duty firefighter, large tree down, blocking up. These are down New Hampshire. Manchester, hail report. Oh. Imagine that. 1.5 diameter, 1.5 diameter, 1.5 inch diameter hail. So that's a good size hail right there. Hailstone. 1 inch diameter hail coming into a Hooksett here. Milford trees down and branches down. So a lot of the action's coming out of New Hampshire. There's Plymouth right there. Trees down there. But the only report in our region is this one in Bridgeton. There'll be more reports coming in. These are just trickling in right now. Bridgeton reports a large pine tree down blocking Highland Road. So let's see. It's just to put in perspective, 1.5 inch diameter hail. Let's bring this graphic out. I always like this graphic. Is ping pong size. Huh? See that? Ping pong size. There we go. Softball size. Nobody wants that. So right there. 1.5 inch diameter hail. So that's what we had in New Hampshire today. Sorry, Eric. I still had your question up there. I apologize. All right. Let's look at the radar again. If you're just joining us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, a few hundred of you still on here. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to hop off in a second. Going forward here, I think the severe threat is significantly lower. One of the things I want to keep an eye on will be the flood potential in some of these storms. But right now, there are no flood advisories. There are no flood warnings. And we are getting just beneficial rain. Awesome news, right? Maybe we can hopefully put a little dent in the drought situation. That would be nice. All right, folks, we're going to leave it at that. I better give Ryan the computer here because he's getting ready for a newscast at 6 o'clock. And I'm pretty sure we have college football on right now. If you're watching any of the college games, we'll have, on the scrolling in the bottom of your screen, or the top of your screen, actually, we'll have any updates if any more warnings are issued. But I think we're just going forward. Got run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. There may be one or two that become strong to severe, but I think that threat is continuing to diminish this evening. But we're getting some beneficial rain finally, folks, right? I hope everybody is having a good Saturday, despite the fact that it's raining. There will be some more rain in the forecast for tomorrow, particularly during the morning. Haven't had a chance to look at some of the new stuff on that. Ryan's working on that. We're having a broadcast at 6 o'clock. You'll be online on our website. You can check that out with all the latest news from the day. And, of course, our weather, too. So finally, a little bit of rain. All right. We'll leave it at that. Hey, folks, have a nice night. Have a great Sunday. And we'll catch up soon. Take care.